me see. How do I open these? So, like, I don't. So, I'm at a point where I think I'm okay. Like, I will say I'm okay, and I like genuinely think I'm okay. And then I try to do like simple tasks, and I can't fucking do them, and my brain doesn't work, and I have a panic attack walking outside my front door. I am not okay. But there's this weird disconnect in my head where I'm just like, I guess by default, I guess because I spent so many years like ignoring it, it's just like by default, and I don't realize I'm doing it.
I feel that deeply. You may or may not like the cards I pulled then.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I almost messaged you to ask if you wanted to reconsider this when I started pulling your cards, because I was like, oh, I don't know if she wants to talk about this or not. So there may be tears, audience. It just is what it is. Also, I think I look like I'm starting to cry. I bought a new brand of eyelashes, and my eyes are watering. I think that I may be reacting to them. Because I just looked at myself and I'm like, why do I look like I'm crying?
I hate that. Like, trying new makeup is always so hit or miss, because I never, like, when that happens, it's so miserable because it doesn't go fast.
It's why I stay with the exact same thing for like, if once I find something that works, I will use it until they stop making it. And when they announce they're discontinuing it, I will buy like a case of it online.
And then cry.
Yes, because trying something new is inevitably going through a dozen different times of having something that makes, horrific reactions, or I don't know. And now that I'm getting old, there's a whole lot of fun things they don't tell you to expect with premenopause.
That's what happened to my mom.
Yeah, like, okay, so growing up, we weren't raised in like a community where like, oh, we don't talk about it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they talked about it. They talked about being menopausal and all of those things, and maybe they said it, and we just didn't hear it because we were kids and you don't retain that stuff because it doesn't really apply to you. Like, you don't realize it's like, you think of it as this event that happens. It's a whole fucking decade, a goddamn decade. Yeah. Of history. I'm sorry, what?
And everybody's symptoms are like different. Like, nobody experiences like premenopause and menopause and perimenopause. Like, nobody experiences it all the same. And so it's just like shitty all around. Because the way my grandma experienced it, from what she talked about, is not the same at all from how my mom is currently experiencing it. Because my mom got symptoms where like she's just itchy all the time, and she has like scars from like itching her like midsection so much, and she does it like in her sleep most of the time, so she doesn't
don't know it.
And like, she's just hot all the time. She had her period for 6 months and like almost died because of it, like, because she was so anemic, and like it was bad. I'm not looking forward to
in my family. My mother, and she was adopted by her maternal grandmother. So, and grandma just refused to talk about any of this because, that's the whole family. That's what they do. But dad's mom and my mom both had hysterectomies in their late 20s. So they didn't go through, they went through surgically induced menopause, not, the normal process. So there was like no gauge. And then, of course, they don't tell you, they did not tell my mother, You know, they gave her all the information about here's what menopause looks like, here's symptoms you'll probably experience. And they did a full hysterectomy. They took the ovaries and everything. So it's like full hormonal shift and everything. But they didn't tell her that when you get to the age where you would probably have menopause, you still have changes.
Yeah.
So that was a not so pleasant surprise for her. Which I guess at the time, that would have been what, the 80s, I guess at that time, that was just the standard thought that all female hormones were connected to the ovaries. So when you took them, that was it. Yeah, it don't work that way.
Whole endocrine system is also just like a part of it. Like,
I know, yeah, and see, that's my problem, and I think that's a lot of why I'm having panic attacks. Just even going outside my door is, I mean, yes, there's, you know, the trauma and everything, but it's made my thyroid go crazy. So because of my thyroid is out of whack, it throws off my hormones for my cycle. Plus, my blood pressure registered high when I went to the dentist yesterday. For the first time ever, I have never registered as high blood pressure except in the middle of an active panic attack, which granted I was close, but still, it was unusually high.
And when your blood pressure is high, like, it makes it so hard, like, outside of like anxiety, outside of like all that, like, just when your blood pressure is high, that makes it hard to like think and focus on things. Like,
yeah,
like, I don't know about like everybody, but like when mine was super high when I first started taking my ADHD meds, and most recently because of an antibiotic I'm taking, it makes me so like dizzy and wobbly, and I can't, it's like the biggest brain fog of my life. Like, I don't know what, like, I can't talk, can't whatever. I just want to sit.
Yeah, over the weekend I went into a store, and I told I actually had to grab him as we're walking out the door because I thought I was going to pass out. I'm like, just please let me hold on to you while we walk. He's like, are you okay? No, I'm not okay. Just like, I feel like because I thought I was going to pass out.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, that's not enjoyable. I don't know.
I feel that.
And this is why I'm training a service dog, because this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and hopefully she'll get trained up really quick because, you know, she's a smart puppy.
Yeah, she's doing good, but, you know, she's still a puppy, so we still got several months to go.
The puppy crazy.
Yeah, I'll have to bring her up there and let you meet her.
Yes, please. That would be great.
Okay, so while we're rambling and haven't even told people what we're doing, so new year, we're going to do our annual
tarot.
What do we call it? I was gonna say tarot card readings, but I pulled oracles. So
I don't know. I also, in the process of like just sitting here, have lost like 2 of the cards that I pulled somewhere in my vicinity.
Well, I have the picture of the spread, and I'll share it, so you should be able to. I don't know
how I lost things sitting here.
I lose things sitting in one place all the time. I think it's just talent, so that's what I tell people.
It's definitely something.
It's something. It defies logic for sure. All right, so let me.
Oh no, apparently I'm just dumb. The cards were just sticking together. Love that.
You know, and that's okay.
Just having some brain farts today. It's okay.
Let's see. And it's not, you can see the screen, but it's not sharing. Why is it not sharing? Let's back up. Because clearly I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Isn't that lovely? Okay.
Whoa.
I apologize.
So many jumps.
I want to say that I will edit that out so that you guys don't have to see that, but the truth is I probably won't. That's because I find it funny. Like, you guys can laugh at me. It's great. There we go.
I love when the bloopers are in there, you know?
So there is the cards you pulled.
Let me just closer. Okay. So I just did like a little general like year spread and like the end of this year kind of thing for you. And there's 9 cards, and I pulled an extra one for like an affirmation card. And I'll do that one last.
Okay.
So the first card that I pulled was the 5 of Pentacles, which is it's somewhere in there. I'm pointing at it like you guys can see what I'm pointing at, but it's in that like middle, the 5 of Pentacles. And that one represents the energy that you're taking into the new year. And that one I believe was reversed. I forgot to write down if they were reversed or right side up, but
they're in the picture exactly how you sent them to me, so I assumed if they were reversed, they were laid out that way.
Yes, that's how they should be. I just can't remember because I forgot to write it down. And when I moved to over here, all my cards got mixed up and jumbled around, so it'll be fine. The way that they're all in there is how I'm reading them for like the little jotted down notes that I took for myself.
Okay.
So for the 5 of Pentacles and the place that it's in, it's for the energy that will dominate like the next year for 2024. And it means like an end to like the hard stuff and like the difficult stuff. And you're focusing on like new like growth and inner peace and regaining like your self-confidence. And learning to like focus on that and abandoning like all of the negativity, the hardship, and like pushing forward.
Okay.
And then the second one, my deck doesn't call it this, it calls it the vortex, but it's the devil card. And that's the card that represents what you're leaving behind in 2023. And again, it's just leaving behind like the negative mindsets, and leaving behind like the deep dark like anxieties and fears and confronting all those things and pushing forward, you know.
So what does that mean that it's reversed?
That's what it is like when it's reversed.
Okay, got it.
Right side up, it's more that's what's coming.
Oh God.
You're having to like confront those things and deal with them like now. But since it's reversed, it means that you've already done that. It's time to like move forward. You're done. Time for the next chapter. Like you've already confronted those things or are currently confronting them, and like it's getting to a time where it's time for new things. You're letting go of it. So you got the happier positioning of the card.
Thank goodness, because I can't take no more. No more.
I feel that. You don't need more. And then the third card is the 8 of Cups, and that one was reversed. And that represents where you're at, like currently. And it's kind of like a crossroads card. Kind of like contemplating like where you're at and if you should like continue doing what you're doing and just kind of staying where you're at, or if you should let go of it and move forward or move in a different direction, or you know. whole different thing altogether. Just teleport to a different road. But so that one's where you're at, like right now at the end of the year. I'm trying to figure out like the new direction of things. And then for the next one is Four of Wands. This is what you're bringing into the new year. And it's right side up, and it's kind of an appropriate card for bringing in a new year because it's about celebration and joy and happiness.
Definitely need some of that.
Definitely. And a lot of it is returning to like your happiest like home. Like that could be like a physical home, it could be people, it could be like work, it could be like the things around you. Like you're coming back to like the happiest parts for next year. You're bringing that all in. And then the next one was Seven of Pentacles, which was our challenges and obstacles of 2024. This one is like you understand the importance of like putting in time and effort into things, and you understand like sometimes it's a long process to get to where you want to be, or to get to do the things that you're wanting to do, or be where you want to be. And just because you understand it doesn't mean that it's not difficult and doesn't suck sometimes. So that is like your challenge and obstacle for next year, is like getting through like that frustrating part and getting to like the good stuff, even though it might take a little bit. But you will get there. It's just gotta wait, you know? The waiting is the hard part. And then the next one was the Four of Pentacles. And that spot is like the opportunities and blessings for 2024. And Pentacles is always like typically like money and material possession related. And for where it's at, it's learning to like, which I think you've already like been doing. So I think it's just like a continuation of it, is like reevaluating your ties to like material things and to like the world and all of like the physical stuff versus like the inner stuff and like your friends and like my contact is itchy. Sorry. And like focusing on like the people around you and like the things that bring you joy that are not material possession. And focusing on that, and through like focusing on that, like, and taking the opportunities for those things, it's gonna bring you a lot more like joy and happiness and love and get you to where you want to be. And then the next one is the Five of Cups, and the spot it's in is how you need to like prepare for those energies and like navigating the year. And with the Five of Cups, the way that it was positioned, it's like letting go of those emotions that don't serve you anymore, and letting go of like the negativity and not attaching things to it anymore. Like the experiences you've had, like you can't attach like those negative feelings to like future situations that haven't happened yet, because you don't know if you don't know it's going to be the same. You don't know if it's going to have the same outcomes. You don't know if it's going to do all the same things or be the same. So like,
So heal instead of taking the baggage along with me.
yeah, time to let go of the baggage, let it get lost at the emotional airport and get new baggage, you know? It's like time to let it go. And start like pushing yourself to heal in the way that you know you need to. And then for 8, it's the Ace of Swords, and that is going to be like your focus of 2024. And it's telling you like it's time to focus on embracing like life and success in all the different ways, pursuing like inspiration and joy, and really like evaluating what you want out of life, and like what brings you joy and what you want to like do with your time and your life and like the people around you and like how you want to experience life. And then number 9 is like your outcome and lesson of 2024, and that is the 5 of Wands. And it's basically like the same message as the other cards. It's like you have a lot of like built up like
very consistent.
yeah, it's like you have a lot of like built up like guilt and negative emotions and lots of like big emotions. And basically it's saying like you need to like confront them and heal and deal with them and then move on, instead of like not confronting them and letting it like fester and just build up to where you can't ignore it anymore because it's like physically impossible. It's better to like confront it head on and deal with it in the way that you know you need to do it, because like nobody knows you like you do and how you need to heal from things. But that is like your lesson for the next year, is to not sit there and let it sit.
Yeah.
Lots of like big cards, but
I noticed that.
I think it's gonna be like a really good year.
Good.
Like
I mean, it sounds positive.
Overall. And then your affirmation card that I pulled is the action taker,
Okay.
which also fits in really well with the cards. It says, to carry me forth into the life I want to live, I will focus on my actions. I allow myself to think, to plan, to pause. However, I will not get stuck in this mindset. To grow and learn, I take external steps to improve my state of being.
Okay.
Cute little card with a little foot though.
I'm trying. I am trying.
It's not ever easy to like deal with that shit. So like, you know, do your best, and I think you're doing great. So
well, thank you. Yeah, it does. I like it. It's one of those things, because it's something that I can't really talk about because nobody wants to hear that, right? Like everybody's like, it's over. That's, I'm like, well, okay, but it's not.
trauma works. Like, it doesn't just go away. Like,
right. And I think the work that we're doing here on the channel and like educating people about psychopathy and stuff, that's pretty healing for me to feel like I'm doing something, raising awareness, because it's just a really fucked up situation.
yeah.
Which brings, speaking of situations,
Oh no.
again, like I said, I almost said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Because I'm not sure you wanted to. You haven't wanted to have this conversation on the channel.
Oh, if I
But
cry,
all very clearly points to your situation with your family. So I did mark them because the spread is a little confusing for people who don't, who don't actively read these. So the one that's marked number 1 there, that card speaks to the present, and it says you and your loved ones are safe. So you may not be safe for each other, but at least you're safe, right? Like everything is at the moment, in a stable position. So that's a good thing, because that has not always been the case, right?
Absolutely not.
Right. So then the second card is represents the challenge. This is the answers you need are coming, which I don't know about you, but that card always I find very frustrating. But
yeah, like I don't even know what questions I'm asking. How do I know what answers are coming?
well, I think that's the thing, though, right? Like sometimes life gives us answers to questions we didn't even know we had, or gives us things we didn't know we needed, right? So it's just saying, you know, basically don't pull the pin on a grenade. Just be patient and, you know, keep doing things in a good way like you have been, and move forward. So then 3 represents the past. Says a new romantic cycle begins, which you did have in the last year a shift in how that was going for you. Yes. So that seems pretty on track. The more recent past show the world the real you. Yay. And you have, and I think that's good, and I want to tell you I'm proud of you, because you have been discovering more about yourself and also owning it. And it can be really challenging to do that second part.
Don't make me cry.
It's okay if you cry, especially when it comes with such hurtful consequences like it has. But I am proud of you for living in your truth.
I hate crying.
So the 5th card represents the outcome if nothing else changes. If everything stays, on the same course it is right now, it says you are good enough. So even if, ideally, of course, you want things to get better, you want those relationships, and you're sad they're gone. But even if they don't repair, you are good enough. And it's okay if they can't or won't be part of that. I love you, Carrie.
I love you.
Even though I'm making you cry right now.
It's a good cry. I mean, to experience it with me.
So I'm about to cry too. Don't do this to me. These eyelashes are irritating enough. I don't know what crying's gonna do to it.
Let me just stop real quick. I'll get
right. Do the fanning. So the 6th card is the path to the future. It says look at the bigger picture. Right? Don't focus on the things that. Don't focus too much on the things that make you worried or scared or sad. Look at the bigger picture. In the end, it's going to be okay. You still have people who love you. Number 7 is more about you. It says have faith in your dreams. And 8 is more about the situation. Communication is key. Don't shut yourself off. Communicate with those you love. Like we were just talking about, you can't, it's hard not being able to talk about things, or, feel like you have to be silenced, and don't be silenced. So 9 speaks about your hopes and fears. This is balance, spirituality, and practicality, which sounds simple when you say it, but it can be hard. Balance is for all of us in all ways. And one thing I like to point out, because Choctaw culture, that's the basic premise. That's how I explain it to people, is the whole concept is balance between things. But we have to remember there is no such thing as perfect balance all the time.
Yeah.
That's where you get into looking at the bigger picture. It's balance overall. And you just don't want to get, too far either way and tip over.
Yeah.
So the final outcome says a time for healing. So in the end, it will be okay, and you will heal. And those that love you will still love you.
Well, that was great, Summer. Thank you. I definitely didn't cry at all. For those of you listening, not watching, I didn't cry. Not once.
When we're done here and I go back inside, my 11-year-old is going to ask how it went, and I'm going to say, it went great. I made Carrie cry.
Which isn't that hard to do for everybody out there. I cry easily. I'm very hyper emotional.
You make up for my inability to cry. I can't cry a lot of times when I feel like I need to and want to. So I think you balance that out.
Yes, I'm the extreme like hyper emotional one, and then that's how it is with like everybody else. Everybody else is like, I'm fine, and I'm like, I'm not. But
And it's okay. It's okay to not be fine. The world's on fucking fire.
quite literally.
I honestly, anybody who is actually fine and not affected right now, um,
Yeah.
we should probably run them through that psychopathy evaluation. Uh,
Like,
I joke, but only partially, because I don't see how anybody who has empathy can be totally fine right now with everything that's happening. Um, but
world is shit.
right,
Everything is well, not everything. The majority of things are shit.
yeah, overall, like the systems are doing what the systems do, and
which is failing people.
destructive and awful. So take care of each other, y'all. Love each other.
Yes.
Because we may not have the power to stop all of those things, but we can at least bring love and comfort to those around us.
Yeah. Small steps. And then big steps for everybody else around us.